love pulses. They're a unique package of high-quality food, which is good for your health and good for the health of the soil. Pulses have an impressive nutritional profile, making them an excellent food to include in the diet. They are a good source of plant-based protein. However, with the exception of soy, pulses are low in the essential sulfur-containing amino acids, methionine, cysteine, cysteine, as well as in tryptophan. Eating a variety of plant-based proteins, cereals, vegetables, seeds and pulses, not necessarily at the same time, ensures your diet includes all the essential amino acids. Pulses are a source of complex energy-giving carbohydrates. The starch in pulses is digested slowly, so can benefit blood glucose control. Pulses contain a significant amount of carbohydrates, known as oligosaccharides. These move into the colon undigested, where they act as prebiotics, promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria in the gut. Pulses are a valuable source of both soluble and insoluble dietary fibre. High dietary fibre diets are associated with many health benefits. These include the prevention and possible treatment of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Pulses contain compounds known as phytochemicals. Beans and lentils are especially high in polyphenols, which are powerful phytochemicals with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Pulses are the edible seed of the legume family. Legumes have the ability to provide their own nitrogen, a major nutrient in supporting growth. Soil bacteria that live in small growths on the legume roots, called nodules, take gaseous nitrogen from the air in the soil and feed this nitrogen to the legumes. In exchange, the plant provides carbohydrates to the bacteria. This symbiotic relationship means legumes grow without the need for artificial fertilizers, which in turn reduces the risk of soil and water pollution and supports soil biodiversity. Pulses are an excellent choice for a plant-based diet, and after years of decline, their popularity is making a comeback. In part, this is due to Suffolk-based pulse specialists, Hodmedods, who have championed the return of pulses. I spoke with Nick Saltmarsh, one of the co-founders of this pioneering company, and asked him what motivated him to start Hodmedods.
Hodmedod grew out of a community project which was initiated by the Transition Town Group in Norwich. And they approached East Anglia Food Link, which was a small not-for-profit organisation that myself and Josiah and William, my co-founders of Hodmedod, were working for. And what they wanted us to do was to sort of scope out what an ideal, sustainable and resilient diet might look like for a city like Norwich that could be provided for us as far as possible from the natural agricultural hinterland of the city. So we looked at all aspects of diet and what we need in a diet and where it might come from, and quickly realized that one of the biggest gains that can be had in terms of the environmental impact of what we eat is moving from animal protein to vegetable protein. So replacing some or possibly even all of the animal protein in our diet with vegetable proteins. We then started thinking about what those vegetable proteins might be and realized that most of the pulses and other sources of vegetable protein that we eat in this country are imported. Even more strangely, British farmers are already growing, or were already growing, beans and peas, which were very rich in protein, but we just weren't eating them here. So we ran a little project called the Great British Bean Project. We went to a processor who was processing the beans because while they were being grown in this country but not eaten here, they were being exported to countries like Egypt and other places in Africa and the Middle East, where they're really appreciated and are a regular part of the diet. We went to this processor and asked if we could have half a ton of beans that would otherwise have gone to Egypt and see if people here would like to eat them. The processor thought this was a ludicrous idea, and we were completely bonkers. But we persisted. We took the beans back to William's kitchen. We put them in little packs, and we took them out and gave them to people to try. And we got such an amazing response that we decided we needed to do more to get these beans back into British kitchens. We talked to some whole food wholesalers and whole food shops and couldn't persuade anyone else to really drive this. So decided that the way to make it happen would be to do it ourselves. So we started Hogmedod in 2012 with the very simple aim initially of just getting more British grown beans back into British kitchens.
How easy was it to get different farmers to work with you and grow fava beans and peas specifically for you?
So initially we worked with existing productions. What we ideally wanted was organic beans. And when we started, there was no production of organic beans in the UK for human consumption. So there we had to start developing relationships with farmers and persuading them to grow the beans, or if they were already growing them as organic livestock feed, to grow them in a way that meant we could use them and have them processed as a food. So that took a little bit longer. It was 2 or 3 years before we had our first organic beans grown specifically for us.
And moving towards a more diverse farming culture is only going to be beneficial all round. So it's actually quite exciting that you're introducing some other pulses which we haven't traditionally grown, like lentils and chickpeas. Tell me about them. Have they been successful?
Absolutely. No, they've been hugely popular. And yes, I mean, diversity really sums up what we're all about. Both diversity on the farm in terms of the range of crops, but also diversity in our diets. And certainly with the lentils, we've now had several years of good lentil crops, which is really encouraging in different weather conditions. You know, the British summer is very variable. Yes. So if you can get a good crop several years in a row, then it's an indication that the crop is sufficiently resilient. As soon as we started being able to offer British grown lentils, they met with huge excitement, and they are fantastic.
Are lentils easier to grow than chickpeas?
We've been trialling the lentils for longer, so we've got further on with the lentils. Chickpeas, I think it's fair to say they are more challenging. They really like quite dry and conditions and fairly hot summers, which we don't always get here. We're not deterred though. I think what we've realised we need to do is actually experiment with a wider range of different varieties to find the one that is best suited to growing in our variable climate.
I'd love you to tell me your top 3 reasons why we should be eating pulses.
The first reason would be that they are great for the environment. They are a very climate-friendly crop. I've mentioned their almost magical ability to put fertility into the soil, unlike other crops which demand fertility from the soil. Reason number 2, they are fantastically nutritious and healthy. And the third reason would be just that they are simply delicious.
I would echo all of those. Thanks for spending the time with us, and I'll let you get back to work.
You're very welcome. It's been great talking to you.
Pulses are wonderfully good for you, and there's an immense variety to choose from. I'm going to share with you how to prepare some of my favourites: white haricot, chickpeas, lentils and peas. Chickpeas are one of the most popular and widely grown legume. It's very exciting that chickpeas are now being grown in the UK. These are growing in Norfolk for Hogmedod. Chickpeas, dried or as a flour known as gram, have been central to numerous food cultures for thousands of years. They're an excellent source of plant-based protein. They're also a good source of vitamins and minerals, including folate, iron and zinc. Cooking dried chickpeas from scratch is by far the most inexpensive and tasty way to enjoy them. Like all pulses, they need soaking before use. Place your chickpeas into a bowl. For every 200 grams of chickpeas, add a pinch of bicarbonate of soda. Cover with water. Leave the bowl at room temperature for 18 to 24 hours. When they have finished soaking, drain, rinse well, and they are ready to cook with. But never use the soak water to cook the chickpeas. Soaking chickpeas reduces the level of phytates that can impair mineral absorption. Soaking also inactivates protease inhibitors and lectins. Another benefit of soaking is the reduction in cooking time, so this very simple process also saves on energy. Chickpeas can be turned into some fabulous plant-based protein dishes, including chana masala, falafel and hummus, served here with red sauerkraut, and they are a great addition to salads.
Lentils are probably the oldest of the cultivated pulses, and there's a wide variety to choose from.
Aside from protein and fibre, lentils are packed full of iron, an essential mineral that ensures we remain energised and alert. Zinc, vital for robust immune system. Folate, which helps support the creation of red blood cells and is critical to proper nerve function, as well as potassium, which is required to activate neurons involved in positive thoughts and feelings.
An excellent way to prepare lentils is to sprout them.
Sprouting makes the beneficial nutrients in lentils more bioavailable. The active enzymes in germinating seeds aid digestion and assimilation of nutrients, placing less of a burden on the digestive system. Add sprouted lentils to salads where they add a refreshing crunch. Split lentils are okay to cook without soaking, making them quick and easy to turn into a soup or dal.
Haricot beans are small, creamy white, dense beans with a mild flavour.
They're packed with fibre, protein and minerals, including magnesium, calcium, iron and zinc. They're a good source of polyphenol antioxidants. Prepare dried haricot beans by covering well with water and leaving to soak for between 12 to 18 hours. After soaking, strain the beans and rinse very well with cold water. Soaking and rinsing makes beans easier to digest. If the oligosaccharides in any type of bean causes you discomfort, add a strip of kombu to the beans as you cook them, as this further helps break down gas-producing compounds. Kombu is a sea vegetable which contains an enzyme that breaks down oligosaccharides in beans. Haricot beans are used to make the classic Italian pasta and bean soup, as well as French cassoulet, although my version is meat-free with a crispy potato top, and haricot mash, which is delicious with roasted vegetables. If you want any of these recipes, you'll find them on the Green Cuisine Trust website. Dried peas are produced by harvesting and drying peas from mature pods. They are a good source of protein and contain many of the B vitamins, including vitamin B1, vitamin B5 and folate. Historically, all peas were grown to be dried, stored and eaten at a later date, and were a British staple through to the middle of the 20th century. Perhaps the best known variety is the marrowfat pea, which when soaked overnight, then simmered until tender, is transformed into the classic mushy pea.
Pulses are one of my favourite ingredients, and the dishes I've shown you taste fabulous. I hope it has inspired you to live a life on the pulse.